there was a time that I went as a free agent to play for the Eagles, right? And so I'm in free agency, get a chance to consider what team I'd like to go to. Baltimore gives me an opportunity to go out and see if I can match the contract or get something better.
Yep.
Andy Reid was the head coach with the Philadelphia Eagles.
12th most winning coach of all time.
Yeah, and so that just proves that he will definitely be able to make a lateral move,
Yeah.
to another team. But
Yeah,
as far as him continuing with the Baltimore Ravens, it probably was just that time.
Okay.
It'll be interesting, man, where he
Where does he go?
lands.
Where do you think he
It'll be
goes?
interesting where he lands.
Is he coming to Cleveland?
Look, I know you love Cleveland.
Is he
Your
coming?
ties are with Cleveland.
Yeah. And they'll let you know if you're a good player or a bad player.
That's right. Yeah.
Don't want to get on the bad
Even
side.
their own players, they're gonna let you know.
You might have been better off avoiding Philly, Priest, even though you were a killer running back, dude.
Yeah.
And why isn't Priest in the Hall of Fame? Can we solve this puzzle already? Jeez Louise.
Yeah, give me the keys to the kingdom, 'cause I came, I saw, I conquered it all.
All right, Priest Holmes, we're back for another episode of the Holmes Stretch. Although we're in a different location this go around.
Yes.
Where are we? Where are we, Priest?
Yeah,
Tell
very
people.
much so. Very much so. And so most people don't know that I have two younger brothers. It's more than that, obviously, but my two younger brothers, they live out here in California. So we're in Los Angeles, Hollywood.
That's right, West Coast action.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I even, funny thing is, I got a buddy by the name of Alan Serwick. He owns VP Fuel and Racing.
That's right.
Believe it or
That's
not,
right.
man, we're here in Hollywood, and we see a gas station that says VP Fuel.
Huge.
Yeah.
And what's even crazier is in my book bag, which is offset here, I was digging through the pockets to pull out this iPad, and I have a bunch of the VP stickers from when we were out at CMAC, man. They're still in there. So we'll have to pass those out while we're
Yeah,
in
either
town.
that or just add one to the rental car that I got.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. That's right. The Home Stretch is in California, taping a bunch of episodes out here. So it's really exciting. But what's even more exciting than that are the NFL playoffs. They are about to kick off. It's crazy time. And this is all up in the air because
Yes.
the picture that's been painted, the teams that have made the playoffs and the teams that did not make the playoffs, not what we expected, right?
Well, early this season, I had Detroit making a push in
Yes,
the
you did.
playoffs. I really
Yeah, let me pull up the receipts here.
Yep,
real quick.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You would,
Detroit
you would.
Lions. Who else did you have? Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah,
I'll stop there. I don't want to
So
bury you
none of
yet.
the teams that I was politicking at the beginning of the season have made it to the playoffs. But
Yeah.
it's very interesting that there's been several of the teams that definitely had some major trades, like Green Bay, and obviously, what would you think that Parsons would be thinking now?
Right.
Michael
right.
would be thinking right now when he was saying, I had an opportunity to not get paid by Dallas,
Mhm.
got my money by Green Bay, and then look how his story ending has
I
turned
know
out.
it's
Right?
brutal. Well, the team makes the playoffs, but
Yeah,
he picked up an injury,
exactly.
which is obviously unfortunate. But he's still part of a team that's in the
You
mix.
got that right.
So, I was touting. I'll look at my receipts here real quick. I was touting the Denver Broncos. Did they finish?
They
with
made
the
it.
number one seed.
Yeah, they should. Not only
Number-
did they make the playoffs, they made the number one seed.
They did, which is
Bye
wild.
week. They have a bye week,
And they have a
right?
bye week,
Yeah,
which is
so
very important.
that
So,
can hurt you though. It can work against you.
so where do you sit as a player?
Yeah.
Would you rather go right in the mix, or would you rather a little time off?
I think if you have a disciplined team, right, and you've got some vets on that team that can corral those guys to,
Mhm.
take advantage of that time to get healthy, get into your rehab sessions, get your workouts in,
Mhm.
spend that time with your family, obviously, but don't take it as a chance to go out and party and have fun,
Yeah.
And so if you got a younger team, you kind of you may end up in that situation where those young guys look at that as finally I get a break, the season's over with. Yeah,
Right.
we're in the playoffs, but I get a chance to relax, have some
Mhm.
fun. And so I think some guys will live it up if they're younger.
Mhm.
The vet guys are gonna lock in, be with the family, and really get themselves in a very healthy state to be ready to play ball. But Denver has a young team.
They do.
Yes, they do.
Very young team.
Their leader as a quarterback is a young, very, very young, with a lot of success early. So
Sure.
I think that, the coach is definitely going to have to really reel in those guys and, keep a watchful eye on those guys during this bye week. Because, like I said, they're not going to keep those guys to where they have to be in practice for an entire week before they get ready to play. you'll look at it as time for rest and relaxation, recuperate. Um, but it's tough, man.
It is tough. It's challenging. A lot of options out there, things to
Yes.
do. All right. Well, before we dive into all the matchups and everything, I want to talk to you specifically about your playoff experience, because you played in one of the most memorable playoff games of all time. Your Kansas City Chief team were taking on the Indianapolis Colts. And I'm just going to read off some of the stats here. This is a pretty wild game. AFC Divisional Playoffs, which took place on January 11th, 2004 at Arrowhead Stadium. So this was a home game for you guys. And this is a game where neither team punted. I don't know if you knew that. Neither team punted in this. So it was an offensive shootout for the ages. And Peyton Manning finished with 304 yards.
Yeah, don't remind me.
3 touchdowns.
Yeah, don't remind me.
And your counterpart on the other side, Edgerrin James.
That's right.
Who's one of the best ever. 125. He had 125 yards and 2 touchdowns. But you bested him. You finished with 176 yards and 2 touchdowns. And you even added 32 receiving yards from 5 receptions. So, all right, I painted the picture a little bit there. But you go in depth. What was that game like? Not only leading up to it, what went down during the game, and then obviously the result at the end. So talk a little bit about that game and your memories.
Yeah, you kind of dating me now, Mark. But when I think back to that time, there's one thing that I can say, and it really wasn't anything that happened like specifically in the game, right? When I think back to that particular week leading up to it, one, we had the bye week, right? So again, it was that situation where I was like, man, how many of these younger guys are going to take this time to just go have fun, right? Instead of really locking in.
Right.
Everyone was happy and excited that we had the bye week, so everybody pretty much had a chance to go home, and visit with family. But the day of that event, the week leading up to it, it snowed in Kansas City. Right?
Snowed in Kansas City.
I'm thinking this is a disadvantage to Peyton Manning into his merry little crew that's coming into town, right? I'm like, oh, we got this game, right?
Yeah.
We've got that, like you talk about in you got the 12th man, you got the 6th man in basketball, that obstacle that kind of helps the team away or the team coming in. So it snows all week long, right? And I'm like, this is going to be a great game, right? There's not going to be a lot of passing in the game. It's going to be all running. I'm ready for that, right?
You're ready for that.
We show up that morning, and I'll tell you what, from when you think it's going to be sunny, it happened, man. I couldn't believe it, Mark. We woke up that morning on Sunday, on that Sunday morning, and instead of snow being on the ground, instead of it being nice and chilly and cold, man, that sun comes out, melts everything you can think of around Arrowhead Stadium. There might be embankments of snow like built up on the streets and stuff like that, but as far as that field is concerned, man, it was just like a warm, sunny day. And I said, oh my goodness, I already know what's about to start happening. You know what I mean? There's going to be a lot of passing in this game.
Yeah.
Definitely, we tried to control the game with the running, with the rushing attack. As you stated, there was no punts that were in that game as well.
That's pretty wild, man.
Which was very disappointing because, for us, in order to, we use punt returning as an offensive weapon, because we had Dante Hall.
Yeah.
So we could, obviously extend our offense, whether it was on a kickoff return or whether it was on a punt return. And to know that Dante wouldn't have an opportunity to return any of those punts, man, that was a downer, of course.
So was he just on the sideline in a cage, like just like yelling at the defense? Come on, guys, you got to make a stop.
No, I just think so many different terms of this game, when I think back to it, all the things that you kind of wish that would happen. Some of them did, and then of course some of them didn't. But like I said, when that sun, showed up on that Sunday morning, and all the snow in the stadium melted away, the field was dry. It was ready to play a really great game, and we knew that Peyton Manning would be throwing the ball. We actually had an earlier conversation on one of the podcasts with Eric Warfield. One of the things that I didn't realize is that he was having back surgery during this time. And so he had a major injury during this time. And so there was some of the things that probably weren't spoken back then that I now know 20-something years later, right?
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute. You mean
filled
to tell
in some
me?
gaps,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. You mean to tell me that you was on your last leg during that game? One of the biggest games for us, But it was one of those situations that kind of look back. I mean, we had Tony Gonzalez as well. I did everything that I could, as far as an offensive player to,
and then some, man.
Yeah, to try to see if we could definitely have an opportunity to dominate this game. I mean, the score went back and forth a few times. it got to the point where we knew it was going to come down to our defense having to stop them, because offensively we were scoring, but we needed to have some major stops. And I think during that game, there was a few stops that the defense did have,
Mhm.
but I think the overall, when it comes down to it, man, we just didn't put up enough points on the offensive side of the ball, and I definitely think that was a really amazing game.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, you guys didn't win that game, but and that ultimately would be your last playoff game or
Ah,
playoff
man.
appearance, which is wild to me, Priest, because it's not like I don't want to say you guys had great teams or bad teams, but it's just very surprising that you weren't in more playoff games in Kansas
Yeah,
City.
yeah. I mean, when
Yeah.
we even, looked at that stat in terms of those five particular playoff games,
Mhm.
and of course, the majority of them coming on that run to the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
you would think that you would have so many more opportunities. Even when I thought leaving Baltimore,
Mhm.
and leaving on such a high note in terms of winning that Super Bowl 35 with the Baltimore Ravens, right? Jamal Lewis and myself being in the backfield and making
Mhm.
sure we're taking care of the running game, right? Also being a part of one of the number one defense, at that particular time, as strong as that defense was led by Ray Lewis. But when I think back to that, I'm just like, man, when I got that Super Bowl ring, I was really thinking in my head at that time in 2000, I got one. I was part of a team and getting one. Let me go out and go get my own now. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
And so
yeah.
that was the mentality that I thought that, yeah, of course you can win another Super Bowl. You've already been there. So you know the formula, you know what it takes. And during my time with the Kansas City Chiefs, there was always, one or two things that we were missing as far as that element to really bring our team together. Of course, 2003, we had an explosive offensive
Mhm.
stat production, you know what I mean, in terms of what we produced on offensively. But as far as uniting our team and really bringing it together, we fell short of that, man. And
Mhm.
that way, I never got a chance to really get back into those playoffs, as far as thinking how easy it would be.
Right, right. Yeah,
There's a lot
look,
that goes into it, Mark.
I know
Yes, it
there's a
is.
lot of luck too involved. You can be the best at what you do,
Now, forget
but it
luck,
is a
man.
team
Yeah,
sport, man.
I would say forget the luck, man.
Yeah, you don't do you believe in luck, Priest? I don't
Well,
think I've ever asked
yeah,
you that.
not so much luck. I mean, it really is. You got to just put forth that effort. You know what I mean? You got to have a few things that come together the right way to really make that piece, that puzzle come together.
Mhm.
Um, but I think that it's just a number of things. You would think that it would just be having the best quarterback. Well, that's not necessarily true.
Right.
You would think it could be the best running back. You can think of Barry Sanders during his prime, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that at all. You can have the best offense, not have the best defense, man. It's really a culmination of really your players, your coaching
Mhm.
staff, and really that season coming together. But I can tell you what, there's usually some major hurdles that happen that previous season and in the off season that really predicts and produces that next team. The team that forges through all those difficult times usually is the team that you'll see ended up coming in at that Super Bowl championship, you know what I mean? Or at
Sure.
least making it to that AFC NFC championship game.
Right.
And then, I mean, you just got to roll the dice then once you come out of that game, because both teams are locked in, they're ready to play. But this is going to be an interesting playoffs. It really
It's
is, man.
wild. None of the
Unpredicted
teams
at
we
all the
thought were
teams.
gonna be there,
Yeah.
they're not there, and these teams out of no I mean, the Seahawks too, man. I mean, unbelievable.
Yeah,
You
no.
think Sam Darnold bouncing around, it's not working out for him in one team, he winds up in Seattle, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden everything's in place. And every time well, we're gonna break down all these games, but
Okay.
when we think about the teams that make it, it's like you could have an argument for every single one of the teams that's in the playoffs,
That's right.
which is pretty
To
wild.
a certain degree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, we'll
There's some
see.
teams that's just in there to hurt the chances of another team really,
It,
having that opportunity. Because like any given Sunday, anything that can happen, right?
right.
But for the most part, we can have a pretty good idea that there's a few teams in here that are gonna have a lot more success and a lot better run than the next.
Right.
I know we'll get into all of that, but it's gonna be interesting.
All right. Last question I have before we dive in is, we heard the news recently, and at the time of this taping, Harbaugh is out in
Yes.
Baltimore. Crazy game. They lost on a missed field goal at the very end of the
Yes.
game, which is brutal. Feel bad for that rookie kicker. There's been a lot of horrible things happening online and stuff. So people got to curb that. It's like you can be a fan, but
Yeah.
this is it's at the end of the day, it's a game. We're all human, right? But a very difficult thing to go through, not only as a player but as a coach, and ultimately, This is a straw that breaks the camel's back. 18 years in Baltimore, 2 Super Bowl appearances, 1 win. Is this the right move for Baltimore? Do you move on from Harbaugh in this situation, or were you a little surprised by this? What's your reaction to,
No, I mean,
Harbaugh?
definitely there's a surprise to it also, usually when coaches that have had as much success as he's had.
Mhm.
But I think it definitely probably is that time.
Mhm.
Um,
12th most winning coach of all time?
yeah, and so that just proves that he will definitely be able to make a lateral move,
Yeah.
to another team. But
Yeah,
as
yeah.
far as him continuing with the Baltimore Ravens, it probably was just that time.
Okay.
I think maybe the chemistry may not have been there
Mhm.
this particular season. I mean, they had a number of injuries, obviously,
Yeah.
to their top 2 best players right on that team with their quarterback and with Henry, and so their running back. So. Um, It'll be interesting, man, where he
Where does he go?
lands.
Where do you
Yeah,
think he
it'll be
goes?
interesting where he lands.
Is he coming to Cleveland?
Look, I know you love Cleveland.
Is he
Your
coming?
ties are with Cleveland.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think, but at this particular time, I think like you discussed with me, you all would take Harbaugh.
I'd take Harbaugh in a
You
second.
would?
Yeah, yeah. I'm a little bummed about Schwartz. I liked him a lot, but
Okay.
I don't know. It doesn't matter what you do in Cleveland; it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking someone with that much experience, maybe he is the key to changing the culture, or at least setting the tone and putting the right pieces in place. Maybe he doesn't stay long. Maybe it's a short tenure. He
Yeah.
just comes in, fixes some things, and moves on.
Yeah, I can
But
agree. I mean, in
yeah,
terms of setting the tone, with his resume, the amount of
I mean, he's a
leadership that
winner.
he's shown,
He's a
he's a
winner.
winner as well.
You know.
Um, Yeah, very calculated too,
Yep.
as a head coach as well. Knows how to position his players in the right situations, and so. But I think that still is a very very steep
Yeah.
hill, to be able. I think with him having 18 years in Baltimore, I don't know if he wants to restart with
Yeah.
an organization. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I think that would be pretty tough, as well. For him to be able to maneuver through all of the different difficulties that it is that comes with Cleveland, possibly. I
You
think
can
that'd be a tough one
You
to
can
take
say
on.
it. You don't have to put it in quotes. You can say it. It's okay.
Oh
We're used to
man,
it. We're used to it.
yeah,
Gotcha. Well, look, he's going to land somewhere. Everybody, I mean, he's at the top of the list now, right? Every team that's looking for a coach right now is going to want Harbaugh.
yeah. Well, you
So,
even
but
talk about that. Even with him going to Cleveland. I mean, just with Sanders.
mhm,
Shoot, that'd be number one priority that
yeah,
he would have to figure out. I mean,
yeah.
that relationship. How does this work? You know.
Is it too hard of a choice to choose between 5 quarterbacks and one
Yes, I'm
that
saying.
quarterback?
It's gonna
I'm being
be tough.
sarcastic. I think it's only 4, but yeah.
Yeah.
But it seems it's 40. I read this somewhere recently, and oh my gosh, it was so painful. Priest, since 1999, when the Browns came back after the move to Baltimore, 44 different starting
Come on.
quarterbacks,
Come on now. Now you've already actually gave me the number, and
maybe 45.
look,
I honestly, it's in the 40s. I know that, and that think about that. Green Bay has had
that's where I was leading.
2.
Yes, that's where I was going.
Now that's the polar opposite.
Yeah,
There's a lot of teams out there, Chicago, a
that
lot of
cycle in,
quarterbacks.
the quarterbacks.
But I mean, nothing like Cleveland. I
Yeah.
mean, it's wild how many quarterbacks they've starters. Isn't that crazy? Could you
Well,
imagine taking a handoff from 44 different quarterbacks? Poor
it
Joe
would be
Thomas
tough.
had to block for a different guy every
Yeah.
week. Every week.
Breaking news from Bet365. New customers bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. Sign up, place a bet for $5 and get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, player props, futures, and so much more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Hey, do you have a gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER in Arizona, Colorado, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, North Carolina, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, and Virginia. Or 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. 21 plus only, 18 plus in Kentucky. Please gamble responsibly. Must be present in Arizona, Colorado, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, and select parishes in Louisiana, Maryland, North Carolina, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, and Virginia. $10 minimum deposit required. Terms and conditions apply. In-app only.
All right. Well, Priest, as we know, it's never ordinary. Bet365. And it's about to get crazy because these playoffs in 2026 are going to be bonkers. I feel like trying to pick any of these games is going to be a pretty rough challenge. But we're going to dive in. We're going to do it.
All right, man.
Now, I'll let you choose. Do you want to go AFC first or NFC first?
Yeah, let's go AFC.
Okay, you want to do AFC first?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. 6 total games. with the Broncos and the Seahawks both getting the bye.
Mhm.
As we mentioned before, 14-3 for the Broncos, also 14-3 for Seattle. 2 games on Saturday, 3 games on Sunday, 1 game on Monday. Crazy Monday night game. But here we are in the AFC. We'll talk Bills, Jags first. Bills finished with a record of 12-5, and they're on the road because the Jaguars won their division at 13-4. This is a Saturday game. What has to happen for the Bills to be successful here against the Jaguars? It seems like Trevor Lawrence is popping off.
Yeah.
This guy is hotter than hot right now.
Yeah, well, that's the reason why I was going to say it's not much that I can really say about what will the Bills do.
Yeah.
They can show up on game day,
Yeah.
but I think it's Jags. I really do.
Okay.
Trevor Lawrence is playing very hot, definitely showing he's a leader. Just here in the last 3 weeks, he's been a mobile quarterback. You know what I mean? He's been running touchdowns and throwing.
Yeah.
So you've seen a different element with him. But the Bills is just one of those short stories. We've seen this story. We've seen it play out before. And I think they'll give a good run, but
You got the
it's just
Jags in this
yeah,
one.
I'm
You got
going
the
Jags
Jags
on
at
this one.
home.
Really,
All right.
they're just going to go ahead and get Josh off the table real quick.
Josh Allen
Because I think
falling
he can
short
disrupt.
again.
I think he can disrupt. Well, Josh will disrupt. If they can get past this first
Sure.
round. But if the Jags have something to say about it,
Okay, so
I'm
the
going
X
Jags.
factor then in this game
Yeah.
for the Bills to be successful.
It's always going to be a quarterback.
So you
with
think
these
it's
two
going to be
teams,
Josh Allen. So he's going to have to throw.
He's going to have to do it all.
And
He's going
run
to have to be
for
Josh Allen. He's
touchdowns.
going to have to run, throw, fake like he's about to go out of bounds, and
Okay.
then tiptoe the sideline, and then
Sure.
come back in. He's going to have to be that type of player. Definitely.
Okay. All right. And so for the Jags to be successful and not shoot themselves in the foot, just be consistent, do what they've been doing, don't overthink it.
Yeah, Trevor, do what you do best.
Okay,
He's shown
Trevor
it.
Lawrence.
Yeah, he's shown it. He's shown it definitely this year as well. So I think Trevor's going to be the X factor.
Okay. All right. All right.
That's pretty simple in a nutshell. As much as I'd like to see the Bills be successful, I think it's just the same story that plays out with them.
So what does this do for Josh Allen's legacy if your prediction's correct or your pick here is correct? Because here we are again. He's already got an MVP under his belt. Every year going into the season, this is it. This is the Josh Allen year finally. But if he falls short again, I mean, heads have got to roll, right? Is this a coaching change? I mean, you're not going to trade Josh Allen. He's obviously the franchise guy.
Right.
But what needs to happen for Josh Allen? Like, do we make a trade for? This guy needs receivers, right?
No, he just lives with regret through the offseason again.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah, goes back to work, shows up, starts throwing passes, corrals the team, and I think he just sends the banter that we can do it again. But I think it's just something that goes with the Bills. I mean, even though they have the leading rusher.
Yep, James Cook.
Yeah. So I didn't see that happening.
Yeah, pretty wild.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. He steamrolled at the end of the season.
Yeah,
and
it was all Jonathan Taylor, and then all of a sudden James Cook just. He was like going like this up the mountain, man.
Yeah, he stayed consistent.
Sure.
They were winning, and you see who was the leading rusher. But as you've seen, I don't think that's enough.
Yeah.
For the Bills to win.
All right, let's flash forward 10 years. Okay. Is Josh Allen the new Dan Marino? Never gets over the hump.
Oh man. Yeah, if the Jags have something to say about it, they.
Yeah, this year, yeah.
This year.
Okay, yeah. But long term, you think Josh Allen?
He's going to long term. I think he's going to.
Think he wins one eventually?
I think he's going to continue to win ball games.
Okay.
If he continues, and he doesn't switch teams, I think he might get an opportunity at another NFC AFC.
Okay.
Game.
And Mahomes is coming back.
Yeah,
he's eventually coming back.
That AFC, man, it's hard. And I think that for most teams in the AFC, they definitely were elated when they saw that the Chiefs was just having one of those seasons where they weren't going to be in the postseason run. So
it opened the door for everybody who made it into the playoffs, and we're going to jump to the Chargers and the Patriots. Okay, this is a Sunday game. Chargers finished 11-6, and the Patriots 14-3. Behind Drake May, another quarterback, second year, getting it done. I'm going to ask you the same question. What has to happen here for the Chargers to be successful? Because I feel like they're the underdog in this situation. Playing on the road, Patriots are just looking good.
That's right.
What needs to happen for the Chargers to shut down Drake May and pull off a road win here?
Yeah, well, it definitely have to be a defensive game for the Chargers. But I think that they're more on the offense side of the ball,
Mhm.
or their offense first.
Mhm.
And I think when you have a New England team with a young quarterback coming, having the opportunity to get a playoff win, I'm going I'm going Pats, man.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
I'm
going
going
Pats.
Pats. Yeah.
Okay. And Pats just keep cruising like they've been cruising. Same sitch, same as the Jags. Just you're on autopilot right now. Just keep grooving.
Yeah, I just think the young quarterback has just shown, some fortitude in terms of how he's approached the season.
Okay.
There's a lot of storylines with some of the players there as
Mhm.
well. The receiving core has
Yeah.
has
Yeah, we
constantly,
touched on it
yeah,
before.
yeah,
Yeah,
the receiving core
previously.
has definitely stepped up their game. I think they've been a lot more consistent, obviously,
Okay.
this season as well. So, giving it to the young quarterback.
Okay.
Love to see him do his thing and get into another round of the playoffs.
Okay. All right. Texans versus Steelers. Texans 12-5. Very quiet team. Not a lot of
Yeah.
people talk about them. I think when you're an elite defensive team like the Texans are, that's what happens. You don't talk about the team very much for
Yeah.
whatever reason. And the Steelers, yes, they're going to be at home in this game, but they snuck into the playoffs. I don't want to say you don't know what you're going to get, but you've got veteran leadership there with Aaron Rodgers. But in my opinion, I think this is the Texans' game to lose. What do you think?
Yes.
Yeah?
Mark. We could just start with their secondary, the Texans secondary.
Yeah.
I'm saying that they've got at least two of the top 5 cornerbacks,
Mhm.
in the league that's playing with them right now.
Steelers getting back
Yeah.
DK Metcalf finally.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Almost costly.
Yeah, almost costly. I'm pretty sure DK is definitely excited about his opportunity as far as being who's going to be the freshest on the field. Obviously, Metcalf is going to be the freshest, so I think he's the X factor
Okay.
for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Um, Aaron Rodgers, man,
Is he determined?
42.
Yeah.
He's going to be a leader. Consistently a steady guy,
Mhm.
right? Hard to break, and I think he still has that young gunslinger arm. He can still drop those dimes, and we saw it here this past week against
Yeah. Still
Baltimore.
slinging it,
Yeah, he
man.
still can.
You know,
So
everyone's talking about Phillip Rivers coming back at 44
okay.
from time off.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is only 2 years removed from that. And he's still playing and he never stopped.
Yeah, the thing is that one thing I liked about when against Baltimore, Aaron Rodgers took advantage of when the young cornerback slipped.
Yes.
Late in the game,
Right.
and Aaron put the ball up to his receiver for a touchdown. That's the part of it that Aaron Rodgers can sting you.
Yeah.
In terms of offensively, he can find that open player, and he will find them. And I think he just has that. Just being a veteran and just being poised and being in the playoffs as many times as he has been. He knows exactly what that formula looks like in order to get to that dance. But I think at 42, you need more.
Yeah.
You need more than just the fact
Nice
that you're a
young
vet.
hot defense crashing
you
around
got to have
you.
some young guys.
Yeah.
And you got to have some dogs over there on the other side of the ball. So, for Pittsburgh, I think it's an uphill battle for them.
Yeah.
For the Texans, like I said, their duo, between Stingley and Lassiter, they've got some young cornerbacks, and it's an aggressive team. Their defensive line, they have all of the pieces that on the defensive side of the ball, when they talk about defense wins championships, where you're looking at one that has that ability on the defensive side of the ball. They can create turnovers. And for Aaron Rodgers, I'm thinking, in terms of throwing into those tight windows, in order for him to even duplicate having another game where he's like 11 for 14, I don't think that gets you a win.
No.
It doesn't get you a win against the Texans.
I was going to bring this
11
up.
for 14 is not going to get you a win.
I think the Pittsburgh running backs are going to have to step up here and have breakout games in order for them to even sniff a win.
Yeah.
So, like Gainwell, he's got to gain well.
Yeah,
No pun intended.
I like that.
Yeah, and Warren, he's got maybe breaks loose for 50-yard touchdown or whatever. Like something crazy's got to happen like that for
So Aaron, he gets you in position to win, and he can obviously take advantage of any mistakes defensively. He'll find that open guy. But much credit is going to also be to their front defensive line as well for Pittsburgh. They're going to have to create some havoc, and disrupt some things, offensively for the Texans. But when you look at the Texans defense, man, they're just too strong. And I don't think there's going to be enough mistakes and enough open windows for Aaron Rodgers to get the ball thrown.
All right, what's the score of this game if you had to put a number on it?
Oh man,
It's gonna be super low scoring.
it's definitely gonna be a defensive game.
Okay.
So I'm saying neither team scores over 21 points.
Okay.
And I'm thinking something closer to like a 17-14.
17-14, 17-13, something
Yeah,
like
I'm
that.
thinking
Okay.
definitely with a defensive game. I mean, Stroud, the one thing that you can do for most quarterbacks is that when you have a very strong defense,
Mm-hmm.
it's just don't turn the ball over.
Yep.
Even if you're not scoring.
It's
initially,
interesting.
just
That's an
don't turn
interesting
this on. And the
philosophy.
defense can take care
Yeah.
of business.
That's an interesting philosophy. 'Cause my brain goes to, oh, I'm afforded the ability to take more risks because I know my defense has got my back.
Yeah.
which would lead to turnovers.
Which
and
would
you
lead
can't
to
do that.
turnovers.
You can't
Yeah.
do that. Can't
And
do
then
that.
if you turn the ball over, and then you have Aaron Rodgers on the other side,
Yeah.
coming on the field offensively, that's where it gets really
Yeah.
scary because you can't give Aaron Rodgers that many opportunities.
Well, the Steelers like to lurk, man. They
Yeah,
don't
they
come out
did.
strong.
Yeah.
They like to just hang around and
Yeah.
then possibly
And very
pull it
similar
out
to
at
most
the
of the
very
teams,
end.
you
but-
can't say, well, this team has an advantage because they haven't had as many off the field situations or injuries. I think that also with the Pittsburgh Steelers, they've definitely been a team that's had to endure
Yeah.
this season because from fines into disciplinary actions and from injuries. I think both teams have had that.
Yeah.
But I just think the Texans have a very strong team. They have a younger defense in the secondary, and it gives them the advantage.
All right, we're going to move on to the NFC now.
NFC.
Let's go.
All right.
Congratulations to the Seahawks on an incredible year. They get the bye.
Yes.
So first up is going to be the Rams versus the Panthers on Saturday. Rams finished with a 12-5 record and are forced to play on the road
I know.
because that division was crazy. Almost everybody in that division was great. And they're taking on the Panthers, who sneak into the playoffs after losing their last game of the year against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And they end up beating the Buccaneers to make it into the playoffs because Atlanta was able to pull out a victory.
Yeah.
And they make it in with an 8-9 record. How do you feel about this as a player? If you're a team on the outside looking in and you see a team like the Panthers at 8-9, not only getting into the playoffs, but getting a home game.
Yeah.
Do you think that's fair? Do you think we should change the rules when these kind of things happen? Or it's like, hey, you won your division, you play who you play. That's where the cards fell.
You win your division, you play who you play.
Yeah.
That's the way that works. But it definitely is it's a really a negative look, in terms of the teams that are winning.
Yeah.
And are having a lot of success, and then have a team that kind of creeps in.
8-9,
just based
Priest.
on
8-9.
just based on the
It's
ruling,
just
the way the
weird.
rules are. So
Yeah.
it's tough. So even though they squeaked it in, that record isn't good enough to show that they're going to have the resolve to be able to overcome
Okay.
some of their deficiencies as offensively and defensively. And so although they've made it in, it's going to be a quick exit for those
Yeah.
guys. And so we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah. Well, look, Stafford's your quarterback.
Yeah.
I'll ask you some superlatives later, but he's obviously one of the MVP candidates.
Yeah,
so
4,700 yards.
Woo.
This is what I'm saying. So Stafford,
Yeah.
brings his teams to the playoffs, with the Rams, facing, the Panthers.
Mhm.
He throws for 4,700 yards. You think he just decides today to just
Yeah,
take
he's
off
gonna
the day
cool
off?
off?
Yeah, you think
Yeah.
I'm just going to cool off right now?
Cool
You know what I
off
mean?
right now.
Yeah, it's something that's been very consistent with him, and like I said, with him being a veteran quarterback as well. I think he's seen enough of what football reality is, in terms of you can have your great years, your bad years.
Yeah.
And so I think he's learned from all of that, and that's the way he's been producing and
Yeah.
playing. So yeah, he's
First-
going to continue to have a powerful game, during the playoffs.
First ballot Hall of Famer for sure. That guy throwing for a billion yards, I think.
Yeah.
All right, up next, Packers, Bears. Packers 9-7, Bears 11-6. The Bears, one of the biggest surprises in the NFL this season. This is a divisional game too, which
know.
is
I love
crazy
it.
how this worked out. This is taking place on Saturday. Where's your head at with this game? I mean, this will be the third time they meet, right? Obviously, because they're in the same division, but
Mhm.
it's playoffs now, and
Yeah, it
anything
is.
goes in the playoffs. And the Bears have a slight advantage being at home, but we know Green Bay likes going to Chicago, mix things up.
Yeah, they do.
So, what do you think's going to happen in this game?
Yeah, well, I think you can only go in Chicago so many times and mix things up. But it comes a
Okay,
time
that's
where Chicago Bears, they reel in with that fan support, man, and
Yeah.
take care of business. So between this matchup, I'm definitely going Chicago.
Okay,
Yeah, man, I'm going
Chicago
Chicago.
Bears. You don't
Yeah.
think Jordan Love's going to take care of business. I mean, he has the potential to, but
Yeah.
Jordan's been a little inconsistent this year. You don't know
Yeah.
what you're going to get week to week with
Yeah.
him, but
They closed out the season and they made the playoffs.
Mhm.
But I think in terms of game to game, I think there's been a number of games where they weren't able to close out, and
Okay.
especially against Chicago. That rivalry, I think it's just going to be one where Chicago has the edge. I'm giving them the edge.
Okay.
And especially from a running back standpoint, that's the reason why I'm going with
Okay.
Chicago. Because, obviously I think the X factor for Chicago is going to be the running game. You know what
Okay.
I mean? So I think that makes the difference.
I think I think the X factor, or would have been X factor, would have been Micah Parsons in this instance.
Yes.
And now that he's not here,
Right.
I think that gives Chicago exactly what you're talking about. The
Yeah, it is.
advantage here,
Yeah.
and that boosts their run game.
This
quite
is
a
what
bit,
I would
so.
send. I would send the tight end, 2 tackles, a guard pulling, and a center pulling, all to where Micah Parsons
Parsons
should
is,
have
right.
been. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm sending
Right.
about 4 defenders down there, and I'm
Yeah.
going to run the ball, consistently down there, because they're going to have to make an adjustment on Green Bay side
Yeah.
defensively. They're going to have to make a huge adjustment. And, if you know any coach, I'm going to game plan where the weakness is.
Mhm.
So,
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. If you're smart, let's see if Chicago can get
Yeah.
it done.
yeah.
All right, the final game is the 49ers versus the Eagles. San Francisco finished 12-5, where the Eagles finished 11-6. This game will be on Sunday. I feel like the Niners kind of finished at least strong. Brock Purdy, once he finally got settled, came back from injury. I mean, this guy's just a winner.
Yes, he is.
It's hard to believe he was the final pick in the NFL draft, and he's just a baller. And the Eagles, I mean, their season, ups and downs, and infighting, outfighting,
Yeah.
people saying they don't want to be here anymore. Now all of a sudden they're catching passes. I mean,
Yeah.
the wildest season for the Eagles in a while, but they're here, and they are at home, and they are the defending champion. So who wins this game? Niners, Eagles. Who you got?
Oh, it's a tough one, man.
This is a tough one.
And although I don't like neither of these teams,
You don't like either of these teams.
Yeah, either.
Yeah,
So
sure.
either of these teams, neither of these teams do I like. But so, man, I'm just neutral, man. I'm going to go with you. Who are you thinking?
Oh, who am I thinking? Oh, yikes! Don't make
Because I
me.
wouldn't pick one.
If
one
I
or the
had
other.
to, I feel like 49ers have a little more incentive here because the big game is taking place on their home turf, and they want to be there.
Yeah.
And I think with Philadelphia, Jalen Hurts, too many inconsistencies. I think we're going to see a big road win here from the 49ers.
Oh, okay.
They got to fly all the way across coast to coast, but I think they're going to get it done. And I think Philadelphia's going to have an early exit.
An early exit, Philly?
Philly, early exit.
Well, I can tell you what. Yeah, I could go with that. So
can
we're
go with
going
that?
49ers?
Okay,
Yeah, I'm going
yeah.
to let you pick. So I'm
Okay,
going 49ers.
we're going
Yeah, I got a
49ers,
couple of
okay.
friends that are some 49er fans.
Yeah, okay.
And so they'd be ecstatic to hear me say that
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going with their 49ers.
Good. You want
Uh,
to name names? You want to name those?
No
No,
names,
just
no
kidding.
names, but I let them shout out to them. They know who I'm talking
Yeah.
about. So we're going to
Who
go
do you hate more?
49ers.
Who do you hate more, the Niners or the Eagles? And
Uh,
why
it
the
would-
dislike for these teams, or just why don't you like them? Just
The-
bad memories playing against them?
Not
or
so much
something?
not so much bad memories, right? So playing the 49ers definitely as a Chief won those games. Eagles, I had a fair share of wins against the Eagles as well. In Baltimore, it was a different story. My first 2 years in Baltimore, it was just like an uphill battle.
Yeah, no bueno.
I wasn't trying to see any team, especially Pittsburgh. That was one we
Yeah,
didn't want
yeah.
to see. So,
Yeah.
but I can't say I've only had success against the 49ers,
Okay.
as a player.
Yeah.
And so I guess, I would say I would lean towards the 49ers on that standpoint. But as far as the Eagles, you have to remember there was a time that I went as a free agent to play for the Eagles, right? And so I'm in free agency, get a chance to consider what team I'd like to go to. Baltimore gives me an opportunity to go out and see if I can match the contract or get something better.
Yep.
Andy Reid was the head coach with the Philadelphia Eagles. And so I still remember there was a running back there, Deuce, I'm trying to think of, not McAllister, Staley. So
Yeah.
Deuce Staley
Oh,
was
yeah,
the running
Deuce
back.
Staley, yeah.
He had
Yep.
just blown out his knee the year prior.
Okay.
I come in the offseason and get an interview with Andy Reid. Andy Reid says, you'll be my running back, but only for the first 8 games. I'm like, why the only the
8
first
games.
8 games?
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
What's up with that?
And he says, well, here's the reason why. We can't pay you as a starter, but you'll play as a starter. I'm like, what in the world? How do you do that?
So they have
Make that
tier
make math.
breakdowns like that? It's not by
Make that
player?
make sense, right? So
Yeah.
it's not
what's up with
mathing for
that?
me. So he says you're going to be our starter, but we can't pay you starter dollars. But
Yeah.
what we will do is we'll play you the first 8 games, and when Deuce is back from his ACL
Yeah, it's
repair,
taking over.
he's going to take his game, and he's scheduled to be back towards like that 9th game of the season. I'm like, man, this don't make no sense. So I'm like, okay, I got to learn a new offense,
Yep.
right? Take on the responsibilities as a starting running back, play for 8 games,
Mhm.
and then just give that to another player, right? And so, anyways, I didn't end up making a decision to go to the Philadelphia Eagles, but I still remember that, all
Mhm.
right? And so, if I would say which team I wouldn't mind seeing lose, well, it'd be the Philadelphia Eagles, right? Because when I had an opportunity, I could have had a little bit of this preach the beast,
Okay.
but it wasn't in the card, so I didn't end up going to the Philadelphia Eagles. So, I don't mind them losing.
All right. If you had to describe the Philadelphia Eagle fan base in one word, how would you describe them?
Oh man, you said one word.
You want a whole sentence? I'll give you a paragraph.
Well, when I
What do
played,
you
I could
think of the
describe
Eagle
the stadium in one word.
Well, yeah,
and
yeah.
that'd be trash.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But in terms of, like I said, as far as the fans, I would definitely not say that.
They're a wild bunch.
Yeah, man. They're just a wild bunch, man. They're wild.
Crazy. Okay.
They're wild. They're crazy.
Yeah.
You know what? I can say that if you are a Philly fan, they will let you. It will be known that you are a Philly fan. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
absolutely.
So I've met a couple of Philly guys as well,
Mhm.
and man, they talk very highly of their team, but they're straight shooters.
Yep.
So I would say straight shooters.
Okay, straight shooters.
Philly
And they'll also
fans,
let you know if you're
Philly fans, they're straight shooters, man. They gonna tell you how it is, whether they losing or winning. They gonna let you know how they feel.
That's right.
Straight shooter. Yeah,
And they'll let you know if you're a good player or a bad player.
that's right. Yeah,
You don't want to get on the bad
even their
side.
own players. They gonna let you know.
You might have been better off avoid Philly.
Yeah.
Priest, even though you were a killer running back, dude.
Yeah.
And why isn't Priest in the Hall of Fame? Can we solve this puzzle already? Jeez, Louise. All right, that's going to do it for our Bet365 seg. It's never ordinary,
That's
and
right.
we know these playoffs are definitely going to be anything but. All right, Priest, I thought we could have a little fun here. Okay,
What you got?
close this out.
Okay.
Look, it's our first playoff run on the home stretch.
Mhm.
But I thought we could make a little wager. We'll figure out what that is later on.
Okay.
But I want to tie this to the playoffs, and here's how we're going to do this. I'm going to read this out because
right.
I came up with a little game for us to play.
I like
okay?
that. Okay.
All right, each round of the playoffs, we're going to assign a different amount of points to each game, okay, that we have the most confidence in.
Okay.
And we're going to total up these points throughout the playoffs. We're going to see who finishes with more points.
All right.
The end of the playoff run, okay? But here's how it's going to go down. I'm gonna put a little twist on this. Is we can't pick any of the same games, okay? So it's going to be a little bit challenging.
It's a challenge.
To do this. And you're going to assign each game different amount of points depending on what round it is. We're going to start with the wild card round, which is what we're going to do right now. So there's 6 games. Each of us are going to take 3 games. You assign one game 3 points. You assign one game 2 points. And you assign one game 1 point based on your level
Gotcha.
of confidence,
Yep.
okay?
3, 2, 1. Got it.
And I'm going to let you choose whether you want to pick the first game. You know, you could choose of any of the games that you're most confident in and you want to assign 3 points to. Or you can let me pick first, but then you get the next 2 picks.
Okay.
And then I would get 2 picks and you would get 1 pick. Or you go first, I get 2 picks, you get 2 picks, and I pick the last game. So would you rather pick one game first that you're more confident of any of these playoff games? Or are you more confident about 2 games after that? Or you think you could win 2 games after that?
No, I'm going with the first pick. I'm going Texans.
All right, Texans Steelers.
Absolutely, man.
All right, you're putting 3 points on Texans Steelers.
You know, we do everything big in Texas, so yeah.
Okay.
I'm going Texans.
All right, 3 points for Priest on the Texans game. All right, I'm looking at the list. I'm gonna go. Oof, man.
You got a tough one.
Yeah, well, they're all tough. The rest of them are tough. I feel like that was the only easy one. But if the NFL has taught us anything, nothing's easy
That's
this
right.
season. So I'm gonna go. Oh man, I'm gonna pick the Rams Panthers game,
Okay.
and I'll put 3 points on the Rams. And then for my 2-point game, I'm gonna go.
What you got?
I'm going to stick by my guns. I'm going to pick the Niners over the Eagles.
You going
for my
Niners?
Yeah, Niners over the
That's
Eagles.
a tough one, though. That is going to be a tough game.
All right, for you, your 2-point game. You've got the Bills-Jags game left. You got the Chargers-Patriots game. And you got the Packers-Bears. What do you feel the most confident in?
Packers-Bears. I feel very confident.
Okay,
Yeah.
with the Bears, so that's going to be your
Absolutely.
2-point game.
We're running downhill on parts of where Micah should have been. They're
Yep.
running downhill. I'm telling you, that's what you'll see.
All right, and for your final pick, you're going to put 1 point on. Would you like to pick the Bills-Jags game and put 1 point on that?
What's my other option?
Or do you want to go Chargers-Patriots?
Chargers-Patriots.
Okay, and who you got?
Well, previously I said Pats,
Yeah.
so I'm going to have to stay with Pats.
Okay, you're not going to second guess
I'm
yourself?
not going to second guess. I'm
Okay,
staying
so
with
your 1 point game, you got the Patriots winning. You obviously went with the Texans with your 3-point game, and you got the Bears with your 2-point game. That means I have to pick the last remaining game, and that's that Bills-Jags game. And you were pretty certain the Jags were going to win this. So, but this is my 1 point, so I don't feel too bad if I get it wrong. I'm feeling, I don't know, man. God, that's tough. Jags at home. Trevor Lawrence is on fire.
Yes, indeed.
But it is Josh Allen, man.
It is, man. He's definitely an X factor.
Man, road wins are tough, especially in the playoffs. I'm picking Bills over Jags.
You picking Bills?
Yeah, I think Josh Allen's going to shine in this game. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to throw an ill-timed interception that's going to allow the Bills to win this game. All right, Bills. That's my 1-point pick.
That's good.
All right, cool, man. We'll see what happens. We'll come up with a wager, too. We'll talk off, Mike. We'll see what we
mine
can
is
do.
always 300 push-ups.
300 push-ups.
You going to owe me 300, buddy.
Do I look like I could do 300 push-ups? I mean, maybe in a calendar year, but you're going to have to give me some time on that.
Yeah. Knock them off 25 at a time. But
Yeah.
That's what you're giving me, 300 push-ups.
Okay, 300
man.
push-ups.
That's what
Jesus.
mine is.
All right, you got to give me a minute on mine because you obviously could do 300 push-ups right now in 5 seconds. I'll come up with something for my wager on the back end, man. All right, cool. That's going to do it for another episode of the Home Stretch. Priest. It's never ordinary.
That's right.
Bet365.
Appreciate it, Mark.
Hey, do you have a gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER in Arizona, Colorado, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, North Carolina, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, and Virginia. Or 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. 21 plus only, 18 plus in Kentucky. Please gamble responsibly. Must be present in Arizona, Colorado, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, and select parishes in Louisiana, Maryland, North Carolina, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, and Virginia. $10 minimum deposit required. Terms and conditions apply. In-app only.
This has been a Playmaker production.